Spelljammer is super cool. It's D&D in space. Just looking up images of it can get you super inspired. They have giant space spiders, space clowns, pirate ships in space, and it all feels like an endless adventure. Spelljammer is a classic D&D setting, but on August 16th, 2022, D&D released a new release of Spelljammer, bringing it to 5th edition. Here are the few good things I have to say. Spelljammer is very cool. Spelljammer is an awesome D&D setting. It's got so much cool, and if you want to check it out, you should try it. The book gives us 6 species, and they are amazing. Hadozi, Thri-kreen, Ooze people, Gif, Hippo people, Space Elves, and Auto-gnomes. These are great. Third thing, and this is just the last little bit, there's a nautiloid on the cover. Nautiloids are cool, but even then I feel bad saying this because the rest of this is so disappointing that it almost feels bad saying that this is on the cover. Yeah, alright, let's talk about it. For this release, Spelljammer was split into 3 smaller books instead of 1 larger book, a thing Wizards likes to do now sometimes for some reason. Each one of these being a source book, an adventure, and the monster manual. The new Planescape does the same thing, but it does it so much better than Spelljammer. Their books, including their source book, are actually more fleshed out and cool, and they got stuff going on. I was working on a big D&D ranking video, all ranking all the D&D books, but this one is clearly at the bottom spot. It wins. The rules and inspiration are lackluster by a long shot. There is scatterbones information. It is small. This book is bare bones, sad, limp, and a bad excuse for what a good D&D book is. It is lacking content, inspiration, and no reason for me to bring it with me. I'm a GM. I lug books around with me everywhere, and I wouldn't bring this unless you paid me. A lot. Except for the species. And guys, you bring Spelljammer, Space D&D to 5th edition. Surely this will be awesome. In this book, 2 spells, 3 magic items, 0 subclasses. This is so infinitely embarrassing. How? What the heck? They couldn't come up with any other space spells other than you make a space helmet or you make a space chair to fly your ship. What the heck? 0 subclasses is crazy. And then in the rest of the book, about 50% of the book is dedicated to ships. And their pages are not even interesting. Of the 64 pages, 31 pages are ship pages. Half of your book, half of your source book. There's a picture, layout, weapons of the ship, and a paragraph talking about it for each one. What about a good ship combat section that's fleshed out? No. What about discussions of spaceports or cool places to fly these ships? No. How about make each ship page unique, give each its own layout, just a design preference, or tell cool stories for them to get me excited about using them and showcasing the differences of each one. There's a nautiloid on the cover. That's it. You know the book is mid when astral dominions and dead gods are regulated to a corner add-on paragraph with no art. I saw this in the index, and even I was surprised. I was like, this was in here? Many of the things that make Spelljammer interesting are not even talked about, shown, developed on, discussed, or excitedly presented to us in a cool way. And there's one more thing they snuck in at the end. The Rock of Brawl. A cool location. It's a space hub port where you can adventure. Wow, it's cool. But it's 6 pages, and it's in the very back. And it is like an afterthought. It basically is an afterthought. Every cool place here, they get regulated to a paragraph of text with no pictures, and there are so many crammed in here, and so many are crammed in here. This should have been a whole real chapter, not a fake chapter, a full thing with many pages instead of 6. I think that was one of the big problems with Spelljammer's release is that it was disappointing. And someone on the internet said it best, we were promised a feast and got a morsel. This book is disappointing, sad, limp, a weak excuse for a D&D book, and I never bring it with me anywhere. Sad, 1 out of 10. Boo's Astral Menagerie, though, however, is an S tier. Goodbye.